My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Whovians everywhere. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and welcome to an exciting episode tonight because you've all heard the rumors. You've all seen the articles out there, and tonight, you know what? We're going to be talking about it. That there is a slight chance, and I do mean slight, that David Tennant may be returning to Doctor Who in a new incarnation of the Doctor. And, yeah, I got to confess, first of all, if you're out there, please do me a favor. Let me take that screen off. Hang on one second. We've been having... Whoa, how there? We've been having some technical issues, so if you can do me one small favor on the microphone, just in the chats right now, everybody, wherever you're at right now, just say, I can hear you, I can hear you, I can hear you. Just put it in the chat right now. I just want to be able to make sure you guys can see me okay and hear me okay as well there. We'll get to your chats in just a moment. Like I said, we were just having technical issues, so thank you so much for everybody. Thanks, Sophie. I appreciate it. You can hear me. Molly, welcome there. Thank you, Molly, there. Thank you, Sophie, for letting us know that you come in. Dave's going to be on in just a moment there. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. Michelle, hey, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the team there. Echobat, how you doing there? Thank you, Dan. Okay, so we're coming in loud and clear. DJ X7, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel out there. I appreciate it. Everybody who's joining us in the chat today. Today we're going to talk about it. And as weirdly enough, maybe it's not such a crazy idea after all. And I will be proving that tonight, or at least trying to make a case for it. But I've got some friends who are going to be joining me very shortly there. Let me go ahead and add them up. First off, I gotta get this screen. There we go. Oh my goodness, it's been that kind of night, folks. It's just like as soon as we were about ready to go, Mackenzie's microphone dropped out. She doesn't even realize she's still on mute. My microphone started. I'm at StreamYard wouldn't even recognize my microphone. I just started shouting into the air. I'm just like, guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It's like, no.
No. And at the same time, while that's all happening, Spectrum over in Michigan decides, nope, we don't want to work. So my internet then dropped. So
exactly.
Computers because my PC decided then to run a Windows Update. You know, if PC users.
Oh, I hate that.
So I'm on the backup.
It's like your computer is going like, were you busy? Well, guess what? You're not doing anything until I'm done out there. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Yep, hearing and seeing. And I want to some new people are up in here. I'm going to probably butcher it, so I do apologize. Alikadry? So seeing and hearing. So yeah, if people who are just joining in, yeah, I was having some technical issues, so I want to make sure the microphone and the camera were working because the internet was just really becoming borky out there. So appreciate everybody for joining in and welcome there. Of course, DJ X7, I can hear you. Thank you, crystal clear. Becky, thank you so much. And don't forget, if you are on the YouTube channel, please, as you can see at the bottom, please subscribe right now. We had from the convention 40 new subscribers join us on our YouTube channel. That big numbers out there, and I'll explain about VillaCon a little bit later out there. So I want to welcome and say hello to everybody. Dave, I'm going to ask you a favor because Melanie had to drop off at the last minute. Would you mind taking the chats on as well? Would you mind?
I can make that happen. Yes,
you got it. Thank you. There. Let me introduce the team out there. Speaking of which, I've already got them lined up. Dave, welcome. This is new. You know what? StreamYard has updated stuff, and I just sounded weird. They don't go for full screen. This is just.
I did that. I
You
did
did
this.
that. Oh, you did
Remember,
this?
remember the other show? I said, "Hey, when we go to commercial, I'm gonna monkey with a setting."
Oh, that's you.
This was the setting. Yeah, this was me.
God, okay.
So that we can see this.
I thought
So we
I'd
actually
gone-
see the outside. No, if you don't like it, I can turn that off.
No. I like it. I'm not used to it, and plus, there is some kind of new sound thing I was going to try testing out here. There's like sounds now.
There's all sorts of fun stuff.
It was just weird. I'm just like, speaking of weird, because I'm just weird. I'm just lousy at transition. Hey, Mackenzie, how you doing there? Welcome to the show, Mackenzie. Mackenzie Floor of the Ride of Wands, and also the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who. Check those books out when you get a chance out there. Check out on Instagram, but no, Twitch. Your Twitch channel. I know that for a fact out there, but you do have an Instagram.
Actually, I'm going to be building my YouTube channel because I found that YouTube actually is better for my audience that I want to do than Twitch.
Okay.
So I'm going to, you can follow me.
Trust me, if you want to get to certain goals, you've got a lot of work to do out there. So welcome, Mackenzie Floor. And at the last minute, because we haven't checked his audio, he just came in as soon as we started the show. So hopefully everything works out. Dr. Freedom himself, Brian Perez, how you doing there, Dr. Freedom?
I hope everything's working.
It's working just fine. Yeah, it's just like I said, it just happens right at the moment when I hit the start button. It's just like, oh, here's some little tragedies for you.
Right, I know. I would have been in here a couple of minutes sooner, but I got this notice on my computer. You must reset your Ethernet IP address or something. In other words, unplug the modem, let it sit for 10 seconds, and plug it back in.
Thanks, it's just like it just seems to be. I'm on Facebook. Romero, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you could join us. Sophie Flay as well, and Janine, lovely Janine. Thank you there, dude. You know me on Facebook as Al. Oh, okay, Alice, how you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight down there. Alrighty, and got a lot of people out there. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. Dave, go ahead.
Dave, I'm just going to do it anyway.
One question before we start: have I been blamed for this yet?
You want me to?
Ladies and gentlemen, Gremlin Dr. Freedom.
Okay. Gremlin Dr. Freedom. I just love it because as soon as I hit the start the broadcast button, I see boop. And we do have a
there
couple
he
other people
is.
who were supposed to come on tonight.
There he is.
Just did not exactly there. So yeah, the topic, and I gotta say this. When I first started seeing the articles about this, I was like, okay, let me bring on the discussion here. There's a ton of articles. There's a ton of fan ideology that David Tennant is going to be coming back as the 14th Doctor. When I first saw this, I was like, whatever. I was like everybody else. I was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, that's a dream. First thing I mentioned was like, he's already got Hollywood money. He's not going back to Doctor Who. It's just not going to happen. Hey, Mark, what's up, dude? And dudettes, hope everyone's good. Yes, thank you, Mark. Thank you for joining us tonight. Dr. Freedom, is today your blame day? Yes.
Well,
whatever happens, we blame
the reason why I think they're probably going to blame me for this is because if y'all go to my YouTube channel, shameless plug, a week ago, I did one of my little blogs from the parking lot called "And the 14th Doctor Is." Because I didn't get this from 4channel. I didn't get this from Reddit. I did not get this from any articles. One of my sources contacted me and said, "You're not going to believe what I just heard." And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, because he's somebody who knows people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I didn't hear the part about Catherine Tate. I just heard David Tennant.
Heard about that too.
Yeah,
go ahead. Elaborate on the Catherine Tate rumor, then...
I can elaborate on it because I heard my sources were the one who told me about that one. Yeah. And going with Dr. Freedom there, that was the first thing I heard. It's like, you're not going to believe this. Like, and I went to the people that normally debunk them right away, and they're like, no, nobody's debunking it yet. I'm like, huh?
You know what? Sometimes
Patty had said Gallifrey. He said, Matt and David they're set for life, so they'll never have to do that if they don't want to. So, especially around the world coming, their second season, he hasn't filmed that yet.
Well, my philosophy is sometimes the rumors debunk themselves that they're that horrendous. They're like, no, there doesn't even need to be an explanation. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and bring up the rumor here. This is actually coming from the Radio Times. Is David Tennant the 14th Doctor? Doctor Who rumor explained. And they go on. I haven't read the article in its full, but I've been just gazing into no advertisements. No, go away. No advertisements here. Oops, typed in the wrong screen.
So I'm gonna back. So I went and I typed this properly, and then I went and double checked, and whoops, I typed that in the admin screen.
Wait a minute, you do know you are an admin, or at least I don't know. Folks, we've been still getting used to the technical issues that we got here. There've been so many upgrades with StreamYard. I haven't even figured them out yet. And not only that, but YouTube, I found a way to make people, I guess for a better term, admin, or what they call moderators.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, I'll make Dave and Melanie moderators. And I think Dave asked me, well, what does that mean? I'm like, I have no clue, but you're one now. So
I've got a little wrench next to my name in the chat.
Yeah,
I don't know if other people can see it, but I can.
I can tell you what that is because I'm a Twitch moderator. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm a moderator for Secapoko. So there's shout out to Secapoko, some free advertisement.
Okay. So let me go ahead and bring up. Let me go to each one of you on this one. You saw the rumor, and if you want to go ahead and type into the chats out there, please, by all means. But I'll start with you, Mackenzie. You saw the rumor about the 14th Doctor and David Tennant coming back. What was the first thing that crossed your mind when you saw that?
My first mind was, okay, somebody's just having a laugh and trying to spoof off the ratings or something to get everybody excited again because we got this long gap between the New Year's episode and the Easter episode. So I thought first. But like you, I actually have a way to prove that it could potentially work. So I'd be curious to see if your theory is the same as mine.
Okay. And everybody in the chats, we'll pull up your chats if you'd like. The question right now is, when you first heard the rumor that David Tennant was going to be the 14th Doctor, what was the first thing that came to your mind? Dr. Freedom. What was that? What was that like? And I know you have the podcast out there, but just give us a synopsis of what's
okay. Now, my one source that he's been hearing, his one source kept telling him all this stuff like for a while. And he goes, "Well, what's the name?" And he said, "I can't. Even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me." And then finally, like I said, about just over a week ago, he dropped it on me, and I'm like, at first I'm like, "You're kidding," or this has got to be Balderdash, And I'm like. But then when you sit down and think about it, it's now not unprecedented, thanks to the curator. Right. The curator did say you might find yourself revisiting some old faces, the old favorites. So
okay, now you're getting into my explanation, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Right.
And also, for one, they're going to Bad Wolf, and I think that means they're also going to be getting an increased budget. Plus, it's not beyond possibility because they said it's only going to be like 3 specials. And it makes sense because at this point, given the juncture we're at, you'd be having Jodie regenerate and then trying to bring a new Doctor into the 60th anniversary special. And I was sitting there thinking, how are you going to bring a new Doctor into the 60th? Because that would be kind of awkward, for the person who's going to be taking over.
Right.
Kind of unfair to them because, this is one big memorial episode. But if you bring somebody back to take it, just guide the way as an interim until you get to the new person later, it makes sense.
Right.
That's why I'm giving it any credibility. Plus, it's the same guy who told me about Sacha Dhawan being the master, like a year before Spyfall aired, and I didn't believe that either. I was like, no,
probably the same source then. Your source is probably my same source.
Like I said, it's not outside the realm of possibility. I give it about at this point now, 31% chance. Yeah, you're kind of sounds like you're talking on a mic and on a radio.
Janine, you are in the right place for that question because that is the next. Once we stop just kind of rambling amongst ourselves, that's the whole topic of today.
That's pretty much, yeah.
It sounds like you're on your camera mic or something.
Yeah, let me 1, 2, 3. Testing. Did that get better?
No.
Oh well.
Better with 4 or?
No, it was just, it's how it was when you got
Better
disconnected.
with 5 or 6.
Wait a minute.
That's slightly better.
Slightly better. You're getting there.
My first reaction was, I wish Jodie would get another year in the role with RTD scripts instead. And I think Christian is.
All right, I think
Christian is now I'm totally in control.
Oh,
Yes.
This is terrible.
I'm curious to see all of our theories, see if anybody has a similar theory and it collaborates, or how it could be potential. I completely agree with you there, Dr. Freedom, about it being 3 episodes. I even have somebody actually on Twitter had tweeted this, but I had a similar thought. So I'm like, oh, if somebody else has the same thought, I wonder if this is true. The Watch. This is what I'm thinking. And my theory is that that Jodie's doctor is, even knowing the TARDIS has that watch is going to be reopened. Possibly, there's one of 2 scenarios I could see for Tennant coming back. It would be the watch causes absolute chaos, and the doctor falls out of the stream, out of time, and starts visiting old faces temporarily until they get back to where they are, and then the 14th Doctor appears.
Better?
Or
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I think it better.
yeah.
I can add to that, Mackenzie. I said this is what should have happened for 13 just because of the 313 thing, but I would love to see Sean Pertwee come back as his father.
Yes, so would I.
Would 100% work in that scenario. Hey, I'm going to visit some old faces. Boom. And there we've got our new 3rd Doctor on camera.
I don't even know why they didn't call Sean and just, a multi-doctor, especially. He's got to be in the 60th. I want, fingers crossed, that he's in the 60th out there. I want to say hello to some people who've joined us. Melina, thank you for subscribing. Thank you. Yep, we're trying to get to 2,000 Facebook subscribers by the end of this month, which is going to be a hard task, but I mean, we're at 1,740 right now, which would make it our first full year on YouTube. So thank you all for joining us, and then thank you, Melina. Thank you so much out there.
Mark's going to be doing all the hashtags again.
We also want to welcome Trekopedia. I liked that theory. What was the? I missed it, Mackenzie. Just give me the synopsis. What was the theory I missed?
So I'm thinking it has to do with the watch, which kind of is. It's kind of a similar situation or suggestion that
I gotcha.
Episode. I think it's the watch is going to cause the Doctor to fall out of time and cause her or him to visit old incarnations, and then eventually 14 would show up. Or the other scenario that has been running in my mind is, what if the 13th regeneration is a bad regeneration like what Tennant had, and the Doctor splits in 2. So you have the Valeyard and then the Doctor. And the Doctor's trying to come back, but hasn't yet. And we just got the Valeyard. So maybe the Valeyard's screwing up and going to different incarnations, trying to screw up time.
Okay. And we did already have that split in the last episode of The Flux, the Vanquishers.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
okay.
That's why I'm thinking it's either going to be she falls out of time or she's going to split and there's going to be 2 incarnations, which honestly, that's what I had thought was going to happen with Peter Capaldi's going into Jodie, that there was going to be 2. So that would be awesome.
So they're looking. So you're thinking maybe there's a Valeyard. Hey, Carl. Hi. Are we sure the rumors aren't just a misunderstanding about a possible multi-doctor episode?
I think he's referring to the centenary rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different ballpark.
I'm going to do right now is, and hey, Trekopedia, tonight, I'm just going to put it this way. I had a great time over at VillaCon this past weekend. I want to thank Naomi and her husband, Louis, for an incredible time. On Sunday, after I've been listening to, after you get the 20th notification of social media that David Tennant's going to possibly be the 14th Doctor, after a while, you start to convince yourself that maybe he is the 14th Doctor. And you don't know anymore. But I'm going to do this tonight when we come back from the commercial break. When we return, I'm going to try to mount the case that this might be a reality. And Dr. Frieden stole some of my thunder, so thanks a lot. But I do have some information I was thinking. I've really been thinking this out here, that this might be a crazy thought. And I'll explain when we return. Please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become on the legend. We're going to go to commercial break as soon as I find the button, because we got a lot of, like I said, we've been updating like crazy, and I'm just getting used, I'm getting used to my new eyes today as far as StreamYard's concerned out there. I like to see Paul McGann return Trekopedia. There's actually, if we have time,
that's actually another possibility too.
I'm going to explain something in that, but let me go ahead and get us paid. I'll be right back. Please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Here we go.
Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults. When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Fleur, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
The brilliant Mackenzie Fleur, as she puts you... Sorry. Well, he's really good with that voice out there. Now, as long as my microphone doesn't short out, we want to thank our folks over at Ragin, who provided us all this StreamYard nonsense. If you're watching us on the Twitch, the YouTube channel, Facebook, wherever you're watching us, thank our friends over at Ragin. Don't forget to sign up.
Hey there, this is Meredith Loughran with Ragin, and I wanted to let you know that we encourage and promote independent creators and their projects through organic interaction, consultations, and more. Visit Nita and me at RaginAVC.com for details and contact information. Hit the button.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. Today we're going to be discussing that rumor that came out there. David Tennant, is he the Doctor again for now what possibly is the third time as the 14th Doctor? Who knows? Who knows? Discussing rumors and theories about the future of possibly what could be the 14th Doctor. Now, I'm going to mount a bit of a case here. Let's see if this works over here. So, and I want everybody to comment. Please comment. Some of the reasons why I think it might be the case. First and foremost, of course, the return of RTD coming back to the series. I think that is one piece of evidence that might be a chance. And you, of course, RTD worked with David Tennant and Casanova. So why not? Because he's had him on twice. He was a Metacrisis Doctor and the 10th Doctor, so why not the 14th Doctor? So that's part of my evidence that I think that this might be a reality. The other thing is, and I know this is kind of a side thing, but he did bring back Phil Collinson. And I'm beginning to wonder if he's bringing back like everybody, especially when he's bringing in his team from Bad Wolf out there. Because after I saw Phil Collinson's name up here, the next thing I was waiting for was Murray Gold, and I was like, we got the Holy Trinity back. So I meant that I think is another reason why it is a possibility. Now, Brian stole my thunder, and of course, there was that scene in the 50th anniversary when the curator goes up to. Yep, there you go, Ramona. Yep, the curator may be a part of it, where the curator walks up to the 11th Doctor and says, "You might be revisiting old and familiar faces." Anyone mentioned 10.2? Yeah, I thought, what's he been up to on Pete's World? Which might be the case. There might be a revisitation of that particular Doctor. I mean, it's still a part of the Doctor out there. Eric Ide. There were rumors in the 80s that John Pertwee was considered to return as a different incarnation of the Doctor. And I have this picture up also over here. I think Tom Baker once mentioned that he would return if he could come back as the Master. I could have sworn that. If anybody wants to put that in if anybody wants to put that in the chats, go for it. I just want to confirm that. Now, one of the other things that I realized was I've always made the criticism about David Tennant and Matt Smith and everybody else, like Karen Gillan. Once you've gotten Hollywood money, you don't come back. Once you've got a taste of Hollywood, you don't go to PBS again. You're done with the BBC. And it's finished, which brings to my fourth point. Well, Christian, Bad Wolf is owned by Sony Pictures. So technically, especially with the success of the Spider-Man movie, who's not to say that they may pay them the appropriate wage to come back to television. So that is another intricate thing that I would allude to. Because I used to joke around. It's just like, once you've gotten the taste of the Hollywood world, you're not going to go back to the BBC for whatever reason. And I think that's a testament to a lot of people who, like Benedict Cumberbatch. He's Doctor Strange. He's not going to go back to do Sherlock, or maybe if he does, it's going to be like the Sherlock movie. I must say, I'm sorry. I'll read the chats. Go ahead, bring them back up again.
All right, I'm going to back up too because this is one I didn't want to just pop up. Because
Ramona, bring back Murray Gold. Yes,
and I love Murray Gold, but I'm really enjoying. And I just lost his name because I can't. Anyways, the current composer, I really want to stick around for at least one more Doctor. I want to see what he can do for someone else, because I really do enjoy his work. But Murray Gold's amazing, and I don't think Murray Gold's going to come back.
Doc Freedom, you said his name properly, and I've been having a hard time saying the current composer's name. What is his name? Can you?
Oh crap! Now I can't remember.
Looking.
I feel bad too. Okay,
Canola.
All right, it's Segan Akinola. You're right.
Segan Akinola.
You see, the brain box is working, but the hard drive's running slow. Okay.
I've got all not criticizing him as a composer. He's got his own take on things, but I'm sorry, Murray Gold is the gold standard to me with Doctor Who, and I will confess I've been spoiled by Murray Gold. Anytime that I've gone to a convention or anywhere and his music's playing, I know right away, or at least at that time I could know right away. It's like, oh, that came from that episode in Doctor Who, or it came from that Doctor, or that was the scene that happened. I'm just like, oh, that's the Song of the Daleks. He just, for a better term, he set the gold standard for the music that plays, and it's just been incredible. And not only that, it's been eclectic and diverse. So I mean, it's not just the same streamlined type of music. It varies between between scenes, between companions, between actors. I would not be shocked if I would be upset if he didn't bring him back. But yeah, I think with the current composer, whose name I'm not going to try because I'm going to butcher the heck out of it. So in his own right, he's trying to go. It's kind of like Peter Davison when he came behind Tom Baker. Everybody thought Tom Baker was the gold standard, and that was a tough act to follow. So for me, and Murray Gold did it for 10 years before he jumped ship. So it's really hard to come up right behind it. Melina, I think that constantly, but part of me feels as though Jodie is not good as playing the Doctor. She's good in other roles, but not the Doctor. Just an observation. And
that's, I believe, what she was talking about.
Oh, Melina, yes. Jodie was simply badly written. She got the short end of the stick. And I think everybody agrees when RTD is damage control for Chibnall.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, that's fine. But that's just Okay, you two don't.
I
Okay,
think it's just a matter of they couldn't find anybody who wanted the job. And look at what we're getting here. That's the perfect reason why.
yeah.
Everybody turned on RTD towards the end. Everybody turned on Moffat towards the end. Matter of fact, Moffat had to leave social media because of physical threats against his family. His wife.
That's that. I mean, if you want,
show, everybody calm down.
If you have a criticism against those people, you know they're in that league. That's what they're supposed to be doing. But once you go into that mindset of like, you know, that physical and mental harm, no. You're not doing anybody any justice. If you don't like Russell, I mean, if you don't like anything, what was it? The best thing to do is just walk away. No, don't even deal with that out there. Lena wasn't. I was very disappointed with Flux. I really was rooting for this man. So. Flux is another story. We got a whole conversation going on out here. I made me sad too. But,
That's why I'm just bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
But I was going to add that Murray Gold, actually, he was bullied too. And he had said in a press interview that was one of the reasons he left. Yeah. So it's saying that he's going to come back after that, I don't know.
Well, I mean, Russell T. Davies said he wouldn't come back, or at least he had no intention of coming back. Now he's back. And we've seen Stephen Moffat popping in from time to time in the social media. I mean, when he mentioned, what was it, that the Weeping Angels were coming back, and then he was punished for that on social media for, oops, I said that again. Chibnall and Moffat are great. RTD and Moffat are great. Okay, well, let me get to my final thought out here, and then we can discuss a little further. And this is the one that I think maybe I'm hoping will clinch it. Of course, the next Doctor. And I only thought it was funny. It's just like, why we've been so, for a better term, and I use this term loosely, conditioned, because it's always been the Doctor has had this great, you know, we get to know the character, we get to know everything about that character, we get the stories and everything, and then we get to the point where, you know, we feel bad about the Doctor. But there was something in the next Doctor that kind of like piqued my interest. One of which is when he looks at Jackson Lake for the first time, and he's thinking of like, how did it happen? He goes, well, it'd just be me to trip over a rock and, you know, fall on my head or something like that. And I remember the Sixth Doctor getting an unceremoniously being removed because of the issue that they had with Colin Baker. He was fired, and so they brought in Sylvester McCoy to put on the wig and put on the jacket to do the regeneration scene. So, but who's to say that the Doctor can't just have 3 episodes and regenerate? I mean, just have a short series. So these are just the things that I was going through in my head to explain why this might be a thing. Who says it can't be a temporary Doctor, especially when we had Metacrisis, who doesn't have a series. The War Doctor doesn't have a series, except for Big Finish. So we don't hear much about them. So who's to say that a Doctor cannot just have a limited series or just have limited lives? So that is.
And we've lost Christian again.
Oh,
so
it just said muted.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
No, it does weird thing. If I
didn't do it,
tap it, it just goes completely bonkers. But
so going back to kind of the revisiting faces, that you know, second Doctor would be best. Now here's a thought: they brought in David Bradley, who did the first Doctor originally in the documentary about Hartnell, and he was spot on. So they brought him into the series. And they had, and I forget who played the second Doctor, but they did have a Peter Troughton there. So why not bring him in as well, just to keep that rolling, and then bring in Sean Pertwee, because, you know, I just love that man. He's amazing. But
Reese
there's all sorts of.
I remember right, wasn't it?
What's that?
Reese Shearsmith, wasn't it, who played the second Doctor?
Right? Yes, it was.
Yes. And that was Adventures in Time and Space, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew.
And they also had the Master in it.
Andrew Morris, as much as I'm a fan of the 10th Doctor, we have to move forward. By all means, bring back old Doctors for specials. Let's see lots of old Doctors for this the 60th, especially McGann, but don't make them new incarnations unless it's a cameo like the creator.
See, that's another example of what you were talking about a minute earlier, Chris. You know, the only thing we've had for Paul McGann outside of Big Finish was the 190-minute movie and his, of course, 7-minute little Night of the Doctor thing. And that was it,
Right.
as far as on screen goes. So,
okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying that goes into that whole feeling of if it splits and we go back to seeing old Doctors again, it's very possible we could see maybe there is going to be a whole limited series for him again, because we do. One of the things that RTD had said, and this is something I had talked about too, with comparing it to Star Trek, is look what Star Trek did within the last couple of years. Doctor Who has potentially the same scenario now with Bad Wolf and Sony behind. Now there is an increased budget. I can confirm that is the case. And now we could possibly see those limited series that RTD said that he wanted to do 10 years ago but couldn't do. So we could see a Vagan. Very, very possible.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to get a commercial break. And when we return, I'm going to mention an idea that I had. I mentioned in a previous episode, but for just people who are joining us new, especially from our friends from VillaCon and Central Florida Comic Con who just joined us recently, I'll explain my little fanfic, and we'll take a peek on it and see where that goes, just to give you an idea of what I thought. So when we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, become part of the list.
The massive audio Doctor Who Bad Wolf Bluetooth TARDIS speaker. That's all I gotta say, one word. Wow, it looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Here it is in all its Bad Wolf glory. Right here is the on-off switch and the up and down volume. Right here's the speaker. The TARDIS stands about 6 inches from the bottom of the TARDIS all the way up to the top where the light is. Look at the detail. Wow.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. That is Dave Chapman. That is Brian Buress from Dr. Freedom on the YouTube channel. And that is the lovely Mackenzie Floor of the Right of Wands and the Binge Watcher's Guide. You saw the commercial earlier to Doctor Who. Welcome back. And we are just talking about the topic of potentially David Tennant coming back as the 14th Doctor. Big question mark, big exclamation mark. And we're getting to your chats as well. But I did want to introduce an idea that I had a long time ago about what would happen after Jodie's. I'm seeing also on the internet, I don't know why I brought it up, there's people asking, how do you think she's going to go? So I don't know if that's like an appropriate thing, but what the heck. Everybody's going to talk about everything out there. Chris Chatfield, Risse Shearsmith, I was up for him to play the second Doctor again. His brief scene left me wanting more. Not a copy of Troughton, only his own flavor like Bradley. Yeah, I mean, the question that comes up when it comes to people taking over, especially in the Big Finish audios, is it a reimagining or is it a duplication that they should be doing? Because you can tell that there's a slight variation between Bradley and Hartnell. And the gentleman who played the second Doctor in the Adventures of Time and Space, I said, where is he? Why can't we pull him back in there? So what do you guys think about that? Just out of curiosity.
Like I said, it would definitely be interesting. I think I love the idea of just pulling that show back into canon, so to speak, as far as Doctors wise. I didn't love Shearsmith as Troughton, but at the same time, he's there, and we've done it once. So I can't imagine anyone who would do it better.
Right.
So there's no reason not to.
I'm just going to pull this comment because I think it's funny. It's Mark Robinson's comment. And it says, what about Richard E. Grant? We only got him in one story as the Doctor. He was good. Then we got him the Great Intelligence, which I think is funny because technically he is the first 9th Doctor. If nobody knows about that, they had an, wouldn't say animated, it was like an animated feature, and he had an outfit and everything. And Richard E. Grant plays the 9th Doctor at the time. And I believe, and I hate to say in this
Scream of the Shulka. It was a flash animation. Yeah.
Oh no. I was trying to get the companion, and all I can think of is Liz 10. I can't think of her full name, but she plays Liz 10 in the 11th Doctor series. And yeah, I can see Dave working on it right now. But yeah, it's like, well, is this another dimension? Is this another like multiverse spinoff that we can't get a hold of? And I think it would be great to see Richard E. Grant be the Doctor out there. Okay, C2 stories if you include comic relief episode with one female Doctor.
Yeah, Joanna Lumley. Yeah, that was Curse of the Fatal Death. Yeah.
And as funny as
it's Peter Moffat, by the way, for you folks who didn't know that.
And I forgot which one it was, but the what they called the Shy Doctor only had like a lifespan of like 2 minutes.
Hugh Grant.
No, not Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. Oh, okay.
No. It was Broadbent. Jim Broadbent.
Oh, okay.
He had a lifespan of like 5 seconds, and he's just like, I'm really shy. And then he goes, and then the companion actually, you want to try again? It's like, you want to kill yourself to go back and try again. I just thought that was the meat. Yeah, Ron Atkinson. Yep, he was in that too. The Curse of Fatal Death, and it was written by Stephen Moffat, and it was just a fun thing for, I think, Red Nose Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I know it was for charity. Yeah. Time said no regeneration, so going backwards to a fast pace. I'm just curious to see how things go in this respect out there.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, just to give you an idea of what I thought of after Jodie. So we see Jodie for whatever reason that she meets her demise. She puts out her hands, the yellow stuff comes out, her face starts to turn, and boom, it goes dark. And we see and hear nothing for maybe a good 5 seconds. And I'm not talking about the end of The Sopranos last episode. I'm just talking about just for a short amount of time there. In the background, we hear what sounds to be a war. It's still blacked out, but we hear what appears to be a war. And two guys walking, it sounds like, across rubble. And the two guys are arguing about the Doctor. And then all of a sudden you hear one of the gentlemen going, I think I found him. And then one of them goes, are you sure it's him? And then all of a sudden this tarp gets pulled and boom, it's the 8th Doctor laying there on the ground, all bleeding, all broken up, but he's still there. And one of the guards goes, what should we do with him? And he goes, we'll take him. Bam. Hits him in the face with the back of a gun. And from that point on, we will have 3 seasons of the 8th Doctor finally giving Paul McGann his due, which is actually going to be a story that's going to lead into the 14th Doctor, and that's somehow going to run into each other. So finally we get Paul McGann his series. It gives people time it will give time back to Paul for that series, and plus we still haven't revealed the 14th Doctor yet. So it's left up to interpretation. I think the Whovians will just go completely bonkers over that idea.
And that would be another way to kind of do that, would be bring back Joe Martin.
Exactly.
You could.
One of the things that caught my attention because of being a screenwriter now is Moffat's quote where he said that RTD, this version was not going to be the same as RTD.1, but 2.0 was going to do something scary. Now, in screenwriting terms, that means you're going to do something that's really risque. So what would be risque to Whovians? How about there is no 14th Doctor? And that is so we're going to have past Doctors because there is no 14th Doctor. Wouldn't that be scary to think the Doctor is supposed to be this timeless child that has unlimited incarnations? Well, maybe that's not actually true. And so now what are we going to do? We put the Doctor back together.
And I still want to know what the Time Lords gave him at the end of Time of the Doctor, that little breath mint that came out of the universe. Because if he had all these unlimited lives to begin with, then did he lose him? Did he pick him back up? Because there's so many things that in classic Who and even in current Who kind of like rub against the Timeless Children. I even went as far, Spoiler alert, just in case if you haven't seen the Flux yet.
Really?
Doubt the
Everybody
BBC
was working on this whole previous regeneration thing like this is a new phenomenon. It's not. We have to remember, back when they began this series, the whole story was my people, and Patrick Troughton said this, my people can pretty much live forever, barring, accident or injury.
Right.
And then we had, of course, the Brain of Morbius in 76. In which, these are previous incarnations of the Doctor. They were trying to create this mythos of, how old is he really? And back then, nobody cared. They thought, okay, it's cool, we can do that. But then, of course, once again, we have the Deadly Assassin, which stepped in and said, okay, 12 lives, no Omega, it's Rassilon, and all this. This happens all the time in Doctor Who, folks. So don't be too worried,
but it would just be
because chances are, if RTD wants it gone, he can do something nifty and go, it didn't happen. So it's not anything.
I know, but it's just nice that the thing is, when it comes to things like that, I'm half human on my mother's side. It's always the Whovians have got to pick up the pieces and go, okay, we got to explain this, or this has got to happen. Why are bats in the TARDIS? Kind of deal. And then later on, we have to find a way to do it. And now also, the thing is that the Big Finish audio, Vengeance of Morbius, apparently those regenerations were supposed to be Morbius's. So, there's so many twists and things. It's just nice to have some kind of, this is the fine line here. What was it? I'm trying to think of the thing, the YouTube guy who says stuff we shouldn't mess with. There's got to be some kind of consistency, or is, okay, what are we doing with this character? There's got to be some kind of limitations. Otherwise, the Doctor can grow wings, the sonic screwdriver becomes this magic wand, and we can go anywhere. And I know that's an exaggeration, but I always like the fact, again, the Doctor is the Doctor because of the choices the Doctor has made, not because the Doctor is the chosen one. And I think it just devalues the character.
The Doctor is still the Doctor about the choices they made.
Hey, Kathleen.
That has not changed a bit. So I don't know what the big deal is with that. So you found out you might possibly have been, this person. Like I said, I really wish, and I agree with this person, I really wish they hadn't brought back what's her name for the Flux. Because to me, I would have just left it open-ended and say, okay, later on you could say this was a lie, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, it doesn't change the character of the Doctor in any way. The Doctor is still the Doctor, just we've had this other information pop up that, just adds into the character. So I don't know what the big deal is. And also, here's my other big fat concern, what you just said there. If you start putting limits on what you think the showrunner can and can't do with this show's canon, you might as well just point him right out the door, because he's going to go insane within the first week trying to satisfy what you think, or what this group of people should think is within possibility or not. You're putting, complete restriction on the person who's running this show. And to me, that's unfair, considering that every other showrunner going all the way back to the beginning had carte blanche with what they could do with the character.
So I'm going to, and I love all of that. I'm going to channel my inner Melanie twice.
Okay.
First, I'm going to channel her by saying the curator is the last Doctor. Melanie wants the curator to be the final incarnation of the Doctor. That she said that on several occasions. And the second thing I'm going to channel Melanie is, we should probably do another commercial break.
Okay. She would keep me down again. All right, keep me on my toes. Thank you, Spirit of Melanie. Here are the commercials.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com. GINwithshow.com.
Author Cindy Koepp is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Koepp at CKOEPP.com today.
Welcome back to Legend of the Traveling TARDIS in our final round here that we are discussing possibly the return of David Tennant as the 14th Doctor and some of your thoughts into the chats as well. And I want to thank, hold on, where is he? What did he do? What did he do? It's coming, I promise. I just wanted to bring this up. Oh my God. Mark Robinson, here we go. Thank you, Mark. Scream of Schalke. And if you look very carefully, you can actually see on the far left, Richard E. Grant, Ninth Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You can see his companion on the far left. And believe it or not, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, and it's only 20 years old now by now at this point. On the right is the Master.
Yeah.
No, but I can't. Derek Jacobi. It's not the first time he's been the Master in the series. He's actually been the Master in the Scream of Schalke, where he plays the Master who's stuck in the TARDIS. And that's all I'm going to say. If you haven't seen it, it's a really good story. So check it out there if you get a chance. I believe it might. Wait a minute. Is that really my face? Oh my God. I just looked up and it was just like, oh my God, what is that?
It is.
I'm regenerating.
No!
Do not adjust your screens. I am fat. Okay, sorry.
That's what I was doing. Whatever the heck that was.
Christian, you now know in the countdown that I made with you at the end, I'm going to have to use that as for it now.
There you go. There we go. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 2,000 by the end of this month. If we can get to 2,000, we really appreciate it whenever we can. And we love everybody's support out there. So please subscribe to youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. If you're on here, chat, like, share to everybody, because that's how we get the algorithms going. Again, we're wrapping our discussion with the possible rumor. Well, there is a rumor, but the possible return of David Tennant as the new Doctor. And I gave a proposal earlier. If you want to check it out later on, rewind the tape, check out why there might be a chance for David Tennant to return out there. The Watcher.
I'm shocked nobody's mentioned the key reason why this is very, very possible. And that is the fact that you've got the team of RTD and Julie Gardner at the helm of this. And as I've said before, Julie Gardner, this is a woman who can get things done. I'm not kidding. If she were to say tomorrow that I want to put a giant vid screen on the face of the moon to air Doctor Who promotions on so the whole planet Earth can see it, the rocket launch schedule would have began last week. I'm not kidding. This lady's amazing. Like I said, when she was in charge with RTD, they were running Doctor Who, Torchwood, and the Sarah Jane Adventures, and didn't skip a season. There was no short seasons. There was no mixed half seasons. None of that happened. Everything ran on schedule. So anything this woman's involved with, along with RTD, I can believe it can happen.
I just click I am so stupid. What was it? I am so stupid the Time Lords can regenerate into any face he has seen before. Romana 2, which I'm to this day...
yeah, the whole Romana thing, that was a puzzler right there. Everybody's scratching their head over that.
That would be a great story to revisit, because what's she doing? what happened to her? Why was she, why did Rassilon become the president after her? What took place? Is she alive? Is she, in another universe, or did something happen? Did she make the ultimate sacrifice? I think that is a character that somebody needs to revisit, because she was such an integral part of the Fourth Doctor, in the Doctor's life, I should say, and when she ascended to become Lady President of Gallifrey, what happened? And what took place? What was ultimately the downfall that brought Gallifrey down to where the Daleks could attack and destroy them? To that point there. Let's see here. What else we got? David, are there any chats you want me to read off of?
We kind of, we had a couple of longers. We hit most of them because they were short, but
gotcha.
We had a tennis match going on for a little while between two people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we just did that one.
I feel like I was at Wimbledon. I'm like, bing, bing.
Ramona says the real Adric didn't die in Earthshock. It was a block transfer copy, hence being worried about his sum being correct. Was that followed up in Big Finish there, Ramona?
They kind of did with a thing called The Boy That Time Forgot or something like that.
Yeah.
It was a really bad story.
And I heard Adric was evil in that.
Misses.
I heard Adric was evil in that one, right?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. He was. He kind of had this unnatural thing for Nis all of a sudden, and we won't go there.
I think everybody did.
I was really kind of hoping that if you were going to do a villain, wouldn't it have been nasty if, like, the Master or somebody had snatched Adric at the last second before the ship hit, and then he's kind of really peeved that the Doctor didn't come back for him. Plus with his mathematical abilities, I think that would have been an interesting story. But you never know with Big Finish; it can happen still.
Yeah, that's true.
And that kind of goes into what I had. It's like, why did we even have? The only thing that really bothered me about Flux was Azure and Swarm. Like, I felt like they were supposed to be the original Master. So it's like, to me, I was like, couldn't they come back and we do more with them? I just felt like we got it just didn't.
I'm going to be honest. I wish Flux was just them. I don't even know. And I asked people, it's like, why were the Centaurans back? Why were the Cybermen back? Why were the Daleks back? Why couldn't we just focus on this new premise of these people? These new enemies, and what did they have power over that really freaked out the Doctor at that point? What was that case? I'm gonna bring. Let me click on this chat over here because I'd like to see Mr. Patty Hawkins. Christian knows my caveat about old doctors coming back. Yes, I do. I just want to go and thumb through this real fast.
And the next one has not been mentioned. James's. I
got you, Mr. Patty Hawkins. There we go. We had the pleasure of being over at Billicon this past weekend, and that's a picture of Patty hosting on the far left Brian Bostwick, and they were doing, I believe they were showing certain scenes from Megaforce, and I believe, and I forgot the name, and Patty, if you want to throw this into the chat there, I believe the gentleman to the right is actually making a documentary about Megaforce on behalf of Brian Bostwick, but they were there.
God, I feel old. That was the very first videotape we ever rented when we got our brand new VCR back in like 1980.
Yeah, scrolling backwards. Where is it? Because we're gonna. Oh no, I've gone too far back.
While you're doing that, let me. I'm just gonna jump into the chats and bring up some folks out there.
There it is. Oh, sorry. I was looking for
rewind the table part.
Kind of fitting.
Yeah, rewind the tape. Yeah, please.
That was way back.
Tom.
And you can go ahead, Christian. You can go to where you were.
Really?
Yeah, be kind and rewind.
Yeah, I'm just catching up with the chats. There's some of the ones I wanted to read out there. Christopher Sheffield, I think Moffat said, trying to please all the fans that way lies death. Best to close the social media and write down in your own way. His words, not mine, or words to that effect. And I gotta believe that, because I remember there was a documentary and some people were talking about John Nathan Turner and Andrew Cartmel. I think it was part of our interview, or at least somebody had asked him that John Nathan Turner would actually read the newspaper articles and it would drive him insane. And Andrew would go to his office and say, will you stop reading that nonsense? It's going to be bad news no matter what they say. So, put it away out there. A Leaky Dry, I want to see 10 Missy interaction. I truly thought that would have been interesting to see a 13 Missy interaction. Could you imagine those two going? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Patty. Life After Megaforce. Yeah,
because they did Life After the Navigator, Life After Flash. Life After Flash, by the way, was brilliant. It was very well done documentary. So I got to praise them on that. But I'm surprised nobody's mentioned David Warner. In the Unbound series on Big Finish, he played the Doctor, and of course, he's one of those actors you could easily see as the Doctor. There's a guy, with charisma and all that, like John Hurt and all that, credible actor. Been in God knows how many movies over the last many years.
True.
And so, he was a Doctor there for a while on Big Finish.
He is a geekum icon.
Yeah, the Unbound Doctor, I think he started out as.
Yes, he plays an alternate third Doctor. He actually got to work with
David Tennant in Sympathy for the Devil. Tennant was Colonel Wolf.
David Tennant, but I'm trying to think of the other actor and the Brigadier. Please, dear God, Nicholas Courtney.
You're right, Nicholas.
And I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that episode yet, but that's one of the many billion Big Finish audios I truly want to hit out there eventually.
Well, Nick Courtney was in the first one, Sympathy for the Devil, as well, if I remember right, and then went in.
And Patty continues, you can bring an old Doctor back, but he has to have a completely different personality.
That's another thing about the Tennant thing. I can see David Tennant, this guy in all the the roles I've seen him in. He can do villains. He can do, nice. He can literally be that, evil Barty Crouch type guy who does funny things with his face. But, it's like, he's an incredible actor. So bringing him in to do a different incarnation, I can see it any day of the week.
Mm-hmm. And I feel for me that either roles as desperation or playing safe.
Hey, Revelator.
So change it up. Make it. Like, I really like the idea of going back in time and visiting the old Doctor so that we get a little bit of nostalgia going on, because I think that's kind of what we're missing right now is some nostalgia. And that's why we keep going back to classic.
Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our audio version of the show. I'm just going to ask a quick question to the panel, and you guys can put into the chats as well. But for those of you who are watching, we're going to continue for another half hour. We just are going to be ending our audio because of our contract with sci-fi.radio. But quick question, and I'll start with Dave. Dave, do you think this is actually going to happen?
Heck no.
Okay. Mackenzie, do you think this is actually going to happen?
No, only as like a special, and he'd be playing the 10th Doctor.
Gotcha. Brian, do you think it's actually going to happen?
Like I said, I'm currently at the odds of 3-1 against.
Okay. So we're going to say, resounding, all four of us say that this is just a bupkis, but hey, it was a nice little discussion that we had out here. So for our friends on our audio, please make sure that you subscribe. And we want to thank you for joining us on iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, cbsradio.com, Spreaker, wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast. Please subscribe. And don't forget, you can check us here out on the YouTube channel and enjoy another 30 minutes of the show, as well as on our Facebook page. So folks, we're just going to go and say goodbye to our friends on the audio, but we will continue our discussion. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and become part of the legend. You know what? I wish maybe I'll tell Gene on sci-fi.radio we need to go to 90 minutes. Just do it.
So this was an interesting comment that we kind of bypassed.
Yeah. Especially when you have a good show like this. I mean, you can cut. This is one of those topics that you could go on and on and on, just simply by the different theories that could be there.
And James Herman says, has it been mentioned yet that David could appear as a regular guy that the Doctor got inspired by, like 12 choosing the face of the Pompeii guy? It's a possibility. We still don't, it'd be interesting if they actually got Metacrisis somehow involved. What's he doing? How and he and Rose getting along out there? So might be interesting to see if we can revisit that. But I see chat. I'm just reading this real fast. Christopher Chatfield, David Warner was the professor in Matt Smith's story Cold War. Yes, he was. What was the band that he was always fond of? Voltox? God, now I'm gonna. God, what was this? Jeez.
Ooh.
I am such a no. Remember, he was listening to cassette, and remember that he had that discussion with Clara, and he knew that Clara was a time traveler. And hi.
Oh.
Are you ready to come in? Ultravox, thank you, Andrew. Ultravox. I couldn't think of. I thought it was something Vox or Vox something. So, Andrew, thank you so much. Ultravox from Cold War. That was his character, the professor. He was like, he was talking to Clara, and the only thing he cared about in the future, if Ultravox was still around, that was all he cared about. I thought it was funny. Hi, Sophie. How you doing there? Hi, Melanie.
Oh yeah, we're just gonna have a next half hour of hi Melanie comments. Is what we're gonna get.
I know, right? Hi.
Comes in at the last minute just to take up all of the fun.
So what I miss?
Okay.
He didn't screw it up too badly.
You did
We
it.
might actually
Okay.
have another guest, I think, coming in at the last minute, but it's okay. What
Yeah,
was
someone
the-
just brought up the Commander Maxwell thing. I'd hate to think the Doctor was inspired enough to take on the face of the guy who staged it.
Well, remember that
Hi,
that
Sophie.
scene was
Hi,
like,
Mark.
remember,
Oh, yeah,
Brian,
Sophie
he goes-
Flay. I wanted to say something real quick about that. That's a cool name because it reminds me of we had a lawyer back near where I lived. His name was Eddie Slay, literally Slay. And I thought, wow, it sounds like a band that opened for Metallica or something like that. So cool name.
Cool name.
Yeah, I'm just going to expand on your comment. Right? They need to explain Dr. 6 plus Commander Maxwell. I remember that scene. I just remember the moment when the Fifth Doctor's laying on the floor. He goes, "Feels different this time." I'm like, great, you got the face of the guy who shot you. That was the one thing you remembered when you took over for the next actor, and then he went completely insane out there. So I just thought that was interesting.
Plus, you got to admire Peter Davison for keeping his concentration for that regen scene. He remarked about that a number of times. He goes, "There I am. I'm trying to do this sad scene.
Yeah.
And I'm looking right up at the old, what do you call it, Nicola Bryant's chest." He remarked about that a number of times.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I just find it funny that the thumbnail actually cuts off and says David Tennant is the Doctor.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I'm like, that's one way to do it. Okay, well that's one way.
So,
go ahead.
One thing that kind of came up a while back, before this ever happened, was there was a different idea for Tennant coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Just not the Tennant you were expecting. Having his son.
Oh, that would be funny.
No.
The doctor's daughter's son.
Yes. And he's apparently quite the actor, and he's got let me guess, he's got the fashion sense to pull it off.
He was in War of the Worlds, if I remember.
War of the Worlds, a few other things that
I haven't
picture of him
seen
from
his
that.
stuff, so
He's also on my wish list to possibly play Laughlin in The Right of Wands.
Very cool.
Yeah.
No, he's
Yes,
not. I mean, he was in something else. That was a period piece. Wasn't okay? He wasn't World of the Worlds. What was the other thing he was in? I can't remember.
I
He was
burned
in the
away
Google
from that.
movie.
Do the Google.
That's what you're thinking of.
He's apparently very, very good and fun, and he's got the. I just want to see it, even if it's random. Oh, yeah. So it would be definitely interesting to see that, and it would take us back to the youth that I think they're trying to go with.
Maybe
after how badly, and again, no offense to him, Capaldi went going the other direction, and all of the more casual were there for the David Tennants and Matt Smiths went, oh, well, now I don't have a reason to watch this because the old guy, but.
Chris Sheffield says the Fifth Doctor, you have to get poisoned through Spectrox to get Commander Maxwell's face. Nice.
Yeah.
Poor Colin, really. I like Colin. I thought he was a handsome type guy. Melina says, I want a not so well known actor to play the Doctor, and I do too. I kind of like if you're going to move forward, let's get somebody who's completely different. It took a while to get used to Matt Smith, but he was something refreshing. He was a younger actor, and you could tell, at least from my perspective, he felt like, even though he was 20-something when he took on the role, you felt like he knew the universe.
Mm-hmm.
You felt like he played old man, especially what was it, the space whale? The Beast Below, when the scene where he goes ape on Liz Tennant and Amy, because now he has to make this decision, and he's just like, once I make this decision, I won't be the Doctor anymore. So there. So I see Ramona. Is there a limit on loomed body prints?
Keep that lung barrel stuff out of here.
Moving on.
I'm still kicking myself because I saw, like, a couple of years ago, Brian, the book Lung Barrel being sold for $10. Had I known,
really,
yes,
yeah,
it was on sale for $10. You got to remember, there was no Timeless Children. Yeah, there was no Timeless Children. There was nothing leading up to this. Now it's the most sought-off book out there because of the Timeless Children. Now I see it for going for $200 to $300. Not kidding. You can look. You can look now on Amazon. It's
now
just
the
because of the Timeless Children.
Exactly, because of the Timeless Children, and because of how the significance of Long Barrow actually is for those who have never read the novel or even know what Long Barrow is. When you go into the Timeless Children in the Watch that we saw, that Swarm opened, and we see this house that it was going into itself and then coming back out. That is Long Barrow. That's what is believed to be Long Barrow. And if you look at pictures of Long Barrow, it does match that description. So I think that is Long Barrow. The significance of it is that the Doctor's family is trapped in there. And the seventh Doctor was supposed to go in, get there, but he never did. So is their family still there? Does he have a wife? Are there kids there? What's going on? So that's a big question on there. Is where that seemed to be like the key in Long Barrow, and that is actually one of the things that I will be dealing with in the Binge Watcher Guide. I'm going to actually be with the publisher on Thursday, and that's one thing. Andrew Cartmel had actually challenged me to pull his theory and Timeless Children together and make it that make sense. And I said, "You're on."
That'd be interesting.
Dan's got the PDF of Long Barrow, so
but
everyone's sliding into his DMs right now, going, "Hey,
yeah,
I need the book. I had the book for $10, and knowing that it might.
Okay, where did you see it?
What's that?
Where did you see it? Where did you see this book?
It was at a convention. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. I was just sitting there for $10, and I was like, I'm thinking about it. It's just like this is the story itself is been an integral part of what's going on now. But I didn't know this was going to be happening, or nobody was pointing fingers, and now it's jumped up like billions of %. I'm like, I wasn't going to sell the book, but it's just like, it's like, yeah, I get this $300 book now. So, jeez.
Yeah.
And I was searching for it because I was like, I have to learn at least what this Long Barrow is if I'm going to be using it as part of the Cartmel theory, because there was a lot more that was supposed to happen afterward. That actually kind of ties to the whole thing about if Paul McGann had actually gotten the series, but, the producers or whoever it was that decided to put it against Roxanne, that basically met its fate. So, or detriment, if you want to say. It was supposed to tie to all that. So it's like a very significant part of history, but yet it's forgotten about a lot because nobody knows really. It's like the Virgin, which was the publisher, actually fell. They went bankrupt, I think, or they closed, one thing. So it was really hard to even buy those books.
I'm just going to pull this up, Dave. I've got both of you here now, but I have a request from Melanie. For Melanie.
What kind of cake would you like? It's your birthday? Oh, I wish I could.
Happy birthday, Andrew.
I wonder if I could freeze it. No, I don't know if I could ship a cake. But I'll make you a cake. I'll make you something out of fondant, and I'll send you a photo of it. How's that? Does that work?
Here's a change in things.
You can't eat it. Next time.
Sorry.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
can see that now. Hello, FedEx. Can you overnight a cake?
overnight a cake.
It's really heavy.
Oh my god, it'd be international too.
Dave, I'm
What
just
kind of
going to
cake you
jump
want?
back a second here for Brenda's comment. David could be the companion of the new Doctor.
That would be.
There's a change in things.
Did you guys already cover the Catherine Tate piece? I know you already did.
We jumped past it, actually. We jumped past it.
Did?
For it.
How talk about it. Awesome.
Yeah.
It has happened.
Other than we were more discussing how it could possibly fit, but yeah, Catherine Tate, I could definitely see.
I think that would be great if she's a doctor, and that literally it's Dr. Donna. I mean, this is I'm hoping that maybe they'll even entertain the idea of just going a little timey-wimey different universe kind of thing. Because I mean, Christian, you pitched a while ago where it would be a fun thing where they don't know what the heck they're doing right now. And again, I'm sorry that I might be regurgitating what you guys already talked about because I literally just got out of the car. Hoping that, that this would be the opportune time to have those, the Eighth Doctor episodes. Well, what if you went
I mentioned
crazy and said, okay, in an alternate universe, here's what happens if Dr. Donna was actually a thing.
Yeah, that was very.
Basically Big Finish Playhouse, but we get to play it with live action.
Exactly. That was kind of what I had came up with, a theory that the watch is going to be put in effect, and it's going to split the Doctor into either multiple parts, or
I know he ran away.
It's going to fall in time. So therefore, meeting other Doctors. So in the 60th episode, for example, it could be David Tennant and Catherine Tate are there to help put the Doctor back together. Who's to say?
I'm going to address I'm going to jump back just a little bit, Dave. Let me address Patty's points over here. Because Patty says, in all seriousness, the BBC pays the lowest scale they can for a new Doctor. But here's the thing.
Yeah, but that was before the Bad Wolf thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I was going to say, is that we had this discussion. What about Bad Wolf and Sony? I mean, would they still pay the scale? Or do you think they would put in a little bit more money into Doctor Who now that they've gotten...
since Bad Wolf was supposed to do the Americans with Tate and Tennant, they've already know how to negotiate with them, so they already kind of have an idea of what they need to be bringing to the table, and what their asks are.
Also, from what I've been hearing, thanks to the thing with Bad Wolf, the production budget is way beyond anything they've even imagined working with before.
Exactly.
So
yes.
It's not beyond reason that their casting budget would have gone up as well.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. It's probably not. I meant if there's a bit of more money coming in there, it might not be out of the realm of possibility to bring people back if they get a decent chunk of change out there. Patty continues, because they know the actor will always be able to do appearances for the rest of their life.
I absolutely agree with Patty with everything that he's saying, and I agree with the big reason why I'm putting a weighted asterisk on it is because of the Bad Wolf and the Sony bit with having more money to play with. That makes me have more having fun in my head of having bigger dreams. But if we're staying rooted in reality of that wasn't a thing, this is specifically Big BC's, deal, only with their budget, only with their purse strings, I intrinsically agree with Patty and their bargaining chips are, you're going to have more money on the back end. You're going to have more money coming later on in residuals. Again, that's where they can really wait, not paying them money ahead of time because you're the Doctor, and they have to go really with scale at best, but you have a little bit of money to play with. Maybe I think to even kind of echo Dr. Freedom a little with I wouldn't be surprised if something bigger happens, because I'll be maybe shocked, but I won't be surprised because
face it, we've got the money, he's available. Tom Ellis. I'm only kidding, okay?
Now, because
I also like just
every channel we do, he's like Tom Ellis.
Well,
everyone wants to just throw Idris Elba into every damn thing, so just let's throw him in there.
Idris has already said no.
Well, as I mentioned
throwing him everywhere.
Before in the show, Patty, I was mentioning earlier, it is hard to get reputable actors, because once Hollywood money has touched you, the chance of you coming back to the BBC are completely almost nil. Ask Karen Gillan, ask Matt Smith. They're doing their own thing. However, we're not dealing with BBC as much. They're just, I think they're just distributing. It's Sony that's got it, and we're talking about. I doubt that they're going to spend, but they made a ton of money off of this Spider-Man movie. And I meant, how much money are they going to be throwing into Doctor Who now? And we finally going to get the budget that this show really deserves to tell the type of stories that creative writers come up with out there. And Tom,
there's plenty of people that I was thinking that was going to maybe be in Doctor Who, and next thing I know, they got like in a Star Wars franchise. I'm like, well, that's not happening.
And I forgot to mention this in my thesis. Time Lord Victorious. I totally forgot to mention that out there. Oh, we have a request, Melanie. There you go.
Chocolate cake, please, and international. Oh, so now I'm doing Mark a cake and birthday boy.
Yeah.
Now I feel left out.
Canada.
Can't do that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Actually, I'm not actually that much closer than Mark. Hey. I am coming to see you.
Can I Deliveroo you guys cakes? Because I know Deliveroo was over there. I can't remember. Okay, fine. Everybody at MegaCon Orlando this year, come this way. If you go to one of the cons I'm at, I will make you a cake. How's that? Or at least
deal.
At least MegaCon, I know I'm gonna have I book something where it has a kitchenette. So.
Oh, David's here. David. Oh, this is an interesting take. And I actually know people who do not like David.
Boo! Sorry.
Actually, I don't know. Well, that's their
no,
preference.
And
actually, there's two women I know who didn't like David Tennant. They were like, they jumped on Matt Smith. Hi, I never liked David Tennant because there's no genuine aspect of his performance, because his performance style is to make faces. It's bad acting. Much prefer Matt Smith, whose performance is genuine.
You know what? I will acquiesce that because one of my husband's not the biggest David Tennant fan, and his favorite thing in the world is whenever the Harry Potter series is on, and it's Barty Crouch's turn to come down the little inquisitor, the little judge chamber, and my husband starts joking about how here we go, no piece of scenery is going to be left unchewed. Here comes Tennant. So yeah, I can get that when he's doing that.
Catherine Tate as the Doctor would mean that they keep skirting around with the Doctor, with Donna unable to see the Doctor, then do the head implosion out there. You know what? Didn't he put a failsafe in? I keep on thinking that he put that failsafe in.
Yeah, but then she'd be in a coma, because that was what happened. Remember, she went to
Yeah. But I mean, what happened after? I mean, did that release the lock, or is she still stuck with the lock over there?
No, she's still stuck with the lock. It was just a self-defense thing. So that way, if anyone somebody did mess with their memories, boom, everyone in the immediate area got knocked out. That's all that was. Yeah, he said he wouldn't leave her defenseless, and that's basically what it was.
Gosh, everybody's pulling you in now, Melanie. Christina, cakes at Gallifrey
I have yet to go on to Gallifrey 1, so apparently if I get there, why not? I will make everybody. Next time we have a panel, I will make cakes for it. How's that? Everyone can have a cupcake, because we had cakes during Paul McGann. I say Christian brought cakes for that. Oh wait, we had a cake. We had a cake at MegaCon for our year our birthday for the Traveling TARDIS. Now I'll go back to Florida. Apparently I'm baking. Okay, we're gonna be making.
You're not hosting panel. You're in the kitchen.
I can get to the Pandorica. Yeah, that's in my alley.
All right, so submit your design ideas now. Tell me what I'm making, and just don't say, "Oh God, it's gonna be a TARDIS, isn't it?" I'm gonna make a TARDIS.
Did you feel Superman did indeed have a Doctor Who 50th feel? A current incarnation with two older ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but I know about what.
Yeah, we
I've been able to make kind of spoiler out of that.
I think we know what happens.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what happens, but I think we know what happens out
I think we got a better Doctor Who feel out of Loki.
Okay.
Well, because there's no spoilers there. Loki did Doctor Who better than Doctor Who.
Yes,
I'm trying,
and especially that the one. Oh, what's the character's name at the very end of time in Loki that he's going to end up being?
And Loki. And Loki.
No.
And
The
Loki.
guy who basically is going to become King the Conqueror.
Remember
his different name?
The one who remains?
Yes.
Yeah.
To me, that character felt very mastery.
Yeah.
He felt so mastery. And I was just like, that's just, a villain that just, ooh, yeah. Anyway.
Andreas, are we at risk of oversaturation of Tennant? As much as I think he is awesome, you can have too much of a good thing. And my answer is, unless he does something completely different from what he's been known to do, I do think it could be oversaturated.
Yeah.
And like a 50th anniversary, every blue moon, just to have a little fun, to have a multi-Doctor story is nice, but I think if we just bring him back, it might be oversaturating it.
If he comes back, I petition better hair than the 50th.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Ramona says a TARDIS pull apart cupcake cake.
Okay, I could do that. That's easy peasy.
But it's got to be bigger on the inside.
And Patty says Immortus.
Good God. But yeah, I mean, if it was Tennant, it would be neat that if he came back, if he did like his spin on, it would be funny. We just already had a master, but like a Time Lord Victorious, him being evil, that kind of, he could go ahead and chew the scenery as much as he wants that way.
Yeah, and that could be a spinoff. Like he wanted to do a spinoff with 10 and 11, but of course that probably isn't going to happen right now because they're both so super busy right now.
That would be so. You know how Tom Baker said he wanted to play the Master? At least there was a rumor. He said if he ever came back to the series, he would play the Master. What would the Master messed with the Doctor and came back as David Tennant? Just say, remember me? Do you remember
how much of a big spin it would be if the Curator was the Master?
Oh, Jesus.
Blown my own
that
brain.
Came up. I did come to, I channeled my inner Melanie twice and said, I know you have said that you would like the Curator to be the last Doctor.
Yes, he is the Omega.
The Omega.
Mm-hmm.
So I did bring that up, and then I made Christian go to commercial.
As he should. So just in case, here's what the Doctor looks like with the 14th Doctor looks like with my TARDIS. Which is good because now I don't have to pay for another picture. There you go. I got the.
No, that's two conditions.
What's that?
If you're going to bring back David Tennant, let him keep the beard and let him keep his own accent.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
He'd be Scottish.
Let him be Scottish.
Yep, let him be Scottish.
They proved that they had a Scouse speaking person and that they were an actor, and that I felt I could understand him with no problem. So if you can have Scouse, you can have Scottish.
I'm just going to get to a little bit of the convention news. First of all, we want to thank our friends Ben Penrod over at Central Florida Comic-Con 2 weeks ago, and this past Cyberman cake. Sounds like IKEA.
Everyone's been telling me about cake ideas.
And we want to thank Naomi and Lewis for having us over at VillaCon. I just want to go through some of the pictures. Of course, you've seen Patty hosting the Megaforce panel out there. I can't show you the other picture, but I'm going to show you Danny's current picture, and it's actually on the Traveling TARDIS Facebook page. You can find it. I didn't want to bring it on here just to play it safe because she is dressed up like the TARDIS, but her top is just like a bikini top, and written over her chest is the words "pull to open." Well, we finally got a tamer picture of Danny. I think it was like 6 or 7 years later, she took another picture of this, and this is today, Danny. So thank you so much. I'm so happy not only to see Denise Crosby over at VillaCon, but we also saw Garrett Wang. He's coming back, and I think, you know what? I'll just say it here right now. There might be a chance that Garrett might come on the show. Just saying out there. The winner of the cosplay contest, and I forgot their names, and I apologize, but I think it's a Tale of Two Towers. They won the cosplay contest, and that is the picture of them, Fester. And what was her name from the movie, the second movie? Gosh, I can't remember it. I don't remember either. Plus, I want to personally thank Patty for something now I have to tote around conventions. You ready to see this, Melanie? Yeah, ask Eccleston about accents.
Yeah.
You want to see this? Here is what I'm going to be toting around if it lasts long enough. We have a Davros.
Who did you steal that from?
I did not see it. Patty walked up and gave it to me. So we have a Davros now, and he's sitting in the convention.
Patty, did you just have that in your car? Did you drive with it?
Yes,
I need to know if you
Davros.
drove with it, and if you drove with it, 2, did you have it fold up, or did you at least have that thing looking out the window? Because
you know what scares me is the way he's looking with his wolf raised and all that. He's like saying, "You pressed the wrong button again, Christian."
But apparently, I'll be toting him around. Hopefully, he'll last longer than 2 conventions, like most cardboard cutouts I have. It's been in my closet for 6 years.
Davros came out of the
we're putting
closet.
him to good use. There you go. For at least the time being. And I also want to thank cosplayer who were helping me out. You're not going to believe this.
At this point, we'll believe anything.
Well, on Saturday night, I was walking out to leave. I was done. And Naomi and Lewis walk up to me and go, "Christian, you want to host the cosplay contest?" And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That's fine." And Lewis goes, "It's the naughty cosplay contest."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dimmer to
okay.
this can.
Let me think about this. So I just want to give a shout out to a lovely cosplayer, and I got her information on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS and on her Instagram. This is Nirik, and she was helping me co-host the cosplay contest out there, and our personalities just bounced off each other. Now I do have a picture of the actual event, and I'm not sure if I want to put this out there or not, but
is everyone dressed?
Is it
everybody's dressed. It's
Everyone's
just
dressed.
that it
That's
just
fine.
comes. What's that?
Everyone's dressed and covered
All right.
appropriately. Are they all covered where their swimsuits cover?
They're all covered where the naughty stuff is covered. Yeah, it was just
no more than a bathing suit. Then you're fine.
More than that, a little more.
Then
than
you're
that.
fine.
Okay. But they were told to
That's how I
dance
had to
on
explain
stage, and
this
the
to you.
Traveling TARDIS was asked to dance with them. So there you go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
heck,
fine.
That's not bad. Sheesh.
I know. And the
Heck
winner
yeah.
of the cosplay contest for that night is the girl in the back who is Pennywise. So congratulations to her and all that. But there's the TARDIS up in the front doing his dance with everybody else out
Just
there.
sitting
So
there.
there you go. Just sitting there, doing what he does best. So
Looks like the rave's about to begin. Okay.
yeah, exactly. It's hard to begin. I just thought it was funny. I was about to
Right?
leave, and they were
was
like,
fine.
"Yeah, it's fine." I just know that people are a little, selective. I just want to make sure I'm tasteful. But all those pictures are up the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. You can see them for yourself and on our Instagram page there. And thank you, Patty, for Davros. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. He's just an extra thing to lug. I'm going to try to see if I can preserve him so that he can at least last more than 2 conventions out there. Speaking of conventions, not really much on the convention news, but we do want to make an announcement. We are in current negotiations with our friends over at MegaCon Orlando, which is going to be taking place May 19th through the 22nd.
Same weekend as SuperCon, y'all. So pick your poison.
I thought SuperCon moved. They did not?
I thought so too, but apparently they're the same. Oops, excuse me. Everything I've read is that it's the same weekend.
Okay.
So if you're from the I-4 corridor and south, you're probably gonna miss it. But hey, MegaCon's better. Come on, we'll be there.
Gotcha. So MegaCon Orlando. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said even me. Please.
Yeah,
continue.
you'll even get to meet
Dave's
the
gonna be
resident
there.
Canadian Dave.
We are still in negotiations for booth and having a panel out there. We are still in the talks. Nothing has been completely confirmed, but I think we can safely say we will be out there. It's only 113 days away as far as today is concerned.
Yeah.
I just want to see what guests they have.
4 days, and the Dalek Builders of Florida will be there. And if I'm not at my booth, I'll probably be over there. Also, probably over at the 501st.
So let's see what guests they have so far. I'm hoping this is
We're
not
hobbiting again, people.
The
It's anniversary.
Hobbit, Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, Jeff Anderson, Trevor Furman, and Brian O'Halloran. So that's
The whole Clerks.
The whole Clerks.
Yeah, the
The whole
Clerks.
Hobbit.
Yeah.
Hobbits
So,
and Clerks.
Hopefully nobody cancels. And I swear to you, I really hope that they pull Eccleston back, because I think that was the second time he canceled. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Around COVID.
He was supposed to,
so hopefully,
he was supposed to do the circuit when COVID hit, and then when they tried again and failed.
Yeah. He did do Dallas and Denver. He was able to go to those ones. He couldn't get to MegaCon because of the plane and COVID and getting in and all that kind of fun stuff.
Oh, hey, Lewis. How you doing, Lewis? There you go. VillaCon Orlando. Love you guys. We had so much fun, and you were great. Thanks, man. And I appreciate that. And next time you have a naughty cosplay contest, by all means, bring me on out there. So, what? David, Dave. Oh, sorry. David, you take care. You grab it. I don't want to jump around too much.
No, go ahead.
You got it.
I just
I'm
on something
even further back.
Thanks, Dr. Freedom. He had to go at the moment. So, Christina, yes, you do have to drive down. It is an experience. It is, and we're going to be hosting panels once we get out there. So definitely, you want to come check out MegaCon.
MegaCon is absolutely amazing. It's at the Orange County Convention Center. Mm-hmm. It's got many hotels, which reminds me I need to get mine.
Yeah,
and you do. It's an absolute blast. I mean, and you can go. That area can accommodate basically any budget. Everything from being going out to dinner every night, or going to Publix and getting yourself Publix subs and stopping at Wawa for your convention food beforehand. You can really balance it out depending on where you need to stay and how far and all that kind of stuff. And ground transportation, Uber, Lyft, all those kind of fun things are very simple to go to too. So
I'm going to say this is on International Drive. If they make it edible wise, it's somewhere on International Drive. I'm dead serious. I mean, Thai, Japanese, Chinese, Italian. I mean,
super science.
Everything. I think, I'm not kidding you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Melanie, there's a chocolate museum and a chocolate castle.
I think so. Yeah.
There's a chocolate castle next to
you could go there and be able to stay within any type of dietary restrictions you have, or you can just flip the tables and see how much, and let's all have the contest and see how much weight we can all gain.
Exactly. And
I'll race you.
You can get things as like McDonald's or Burger King to highly big restaurants out there.
Packed.
Yes, it is.
That's my
whoever put the McDonald's right next to the Rosen Center, across right next to the convention center. That is just it.
And when you're leaving the convention center, that McDonald's is like, you just go to that McDonald's, get your food, and then get onto the interstate.
Exactly. And you're already next to either going to the beach line, going either to Disney or to the Space Coast.
And you're right there by Universal. So if you want to go to see your the Harry Potter, the entire Wizarding World.
Love you, Sophie. Thank you for staying up this late.
I'm so sorry, Sophie. Why? It's a work night, girl.
Actually, Ramona, is there?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any.
There used to be. I think there used to be.
I really don't. I can point out where the Bennigan's was. There's a pub there, so you can have pseudo British.
And they expanded International Drive, so yeah, it's basically the blood vessel. It's International Drive, so it can be congested depending upon whether there's conventions or things going on that night. But it's
or just pedicabs. She's a pedicab.
It goes from Disney and runs all the way up north to Universal Studios, past SeaWorld. So all three theme parks eventually. There you go. I don't know where to eat on iDrive, but I know where to drink.
And that's just as important, if not more.
Yeah, you go.
But you're still here. I was late too, so you're
late
good,
to the party. That's okay, David.
Never late. Yeah, we're never late.
But we do got it. Yeah, we're getting closer. Yeah, we really pushed it.
They still have the pizza. That's one of the
pizza.
Where?
Not here.
I only knew there was one, and I thought it was up in the northern U.S. McPizza is something that it happened in Canada in the 90s, and at like 5 American test kitchens.
I saw that.
There's like
YouTube.
1 or 2 that still exist. Yes. Canada don't even still exist, but
yeah, I saw that on YouTube. That's somewhere. It's not. I don't think it's here. I don't think it's in Florida.
No, I thought it was one of the northern states.
Just recently, I remember Burger King had the $1 taco, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, they tried.
They tried.
Checkers used to have a taco or a burrito, and that thing was amazing. It had rice in it.
It couldn't be worse than the Jack in the Box tacos, though.
Don't have a Jack in the Box.
That's okay. I travel enough that I have, and it was. Yeah. So I wanted to jump. Oh, sorry. I want to jump back really quick because I tried desperately to find Christopher's where he wrote this, but there's too many Facebook pages. Not all of these are books. These are all games. Some of these are Doctor Who RPGs. A lot of the rest of it isn't. But as far as a rare one, I have one of the very, very few remaining photo books from Yuji, which he did in fact autograph.
Yay!
So I have a question for you, Dave, because I want to look into this in the future. And Jessica and I were talking about this. Can we play an RPG, Doctor Who RPG online?
Yes, I've been desperately trying to figure out. I am a terrible GM. I need someone willing to run it. Mm-hmm. And yes, we will definitely make it happen. I've been trying for 2 years to find someone willing and able to run it for us. But yes, 100% yes. Like I just keep finding, nope. Oh yeah, I can do it.
Vitas Varnas,
kind of situations.
Varnas says a Weeping Angel board game was recently announced. So
yes.
There we go.
Don't blink. And I have been in touch with them, and we will be having a box opening when a copy is available.
Awesome.
I haven't even told Christian that yet. Yes, they are going to be sending me a copy of Don't Blink, and as soon as I have it, we will open it here and do a first opening here. Probably before it's released out anywhere else.
That is awesome. I love that because that was one thing I had seen a big article about it. I had originally told you about it and then saw this big article yesterday. So oh, Dave, that's interesting. But for my channel that I'm going to be starting up on YouTube, I started on Twitch, but the audience just wasn't right there because YouTube has a lot more features than Twitch has right now for my needs. I actually got my hands on the Doctor Who adventure games. I've never played any of them, so I'm actually excited to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to live stream them while I'm playing them. I've played them before, so see my reaction as I play.
Actually, Vitas, if you want to jump down the next comment, Dave. Yes, Vitas, we are going to be playing the Worlds Apart game stream.
Yes.
As soon as the Mort gets to us and tells us what we need to do. We're still going to try to figure it out, but yeah, we're going to be playing it on live online, and that will be if you haven't had a chance. If you see on the bottom, that will be exclusively once we're going to play the first game on all the social media channels, and then we're going to be playing remaining games on the YouTube channel exclusively. So YouTube.com, the Legend of the Plaid. The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Make sure you subscribe before you leave today. We do got to wrap up because I have somebody in the next room shouting that the meal's been done 15 minutes. But go ahead, Dave.
I just want to say this is happening right now. I don't know if it's on a stream somewhere, but a friend of mine posted it somewhere in my social media feed that they were doing a D&D 5th edition Doctor Who thing. I just don't remember who or where it is.
You know what, Melanie? If I had thought it out earlier, I would have said every episode that you're on, you should, between commercials, you should bring in a new chocolate and let's just watch you eat the new one out there. Christina, that's not out of the that might not be out of the question. Dave, there you go. Dave, do you think we could do that for a panel? We could probably play a game.
I don't know for a panel. We can definitely do a game night. In fact, I guarantee I will have I will have a not Doctor Who game with me because Steeped Games is bringing me out, so I'll have a copy of Chai with me. But we can definitely talk, Christina, and see if we can figure out something bigger too.
Sorry, I still have all this chocolate. I don't. Mark, look what you did to me.
We're just let's just run down the comments real fast. Revelator, I own an original Doctor Who adventure game.
Bring it. Oh.
Christopher Chatfield says, Mel, is that old stock from your box of goodies? That curly whirly cool.
Yes, I'm still working on it.
David, thank you for joining us on the stream. We'll be back next week. Sophie, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's 1 a.m. where you're at. I'm so sorry. And yeah, Christopher, you need to be jealous because I just want to go to Melanie's house and just eat whatever she's got.
I know.
Right now. It's ridiculous.
Sorry. It's Mark's fault.
Shit is Mark's fault. I'm gonna give.
You can have these little sherbet things.
I'm gonna see if Mark can send me something when is he coming to MegaCon? I'm gonna ask him to send us stuff. So, everybody, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for joining us again. Please, if you haven't already, do this now. YouTube.com, The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We do this practically every week. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for joining us. Yes, thank you.
And I'll probably be here next week and coming back because I just
we do this every Tuesday night at 6.
Sorry, guys.
I know.
Back. I love you.
Share with you after the stream.
There you go.
Can't tell it publicly yet.
James says he's hungry. Okay, we're gonna go because I got some dinner going. I'm sure at least Melanie wants to eat some Choco. So everybody, thank you so much. Please stay safe out there, whatever you do, and always take care of yourselves because we want you to continue to become part of the legend.